Hello, 6th graders. This is Arash Jafarzadeh here, working with you on completing your Flash assignment. So basically what we want to do is we want to set up our player to do a couple of things. First of all, we want to create a button so that when I click it, it can reset everything back to normal. And then hopefully, if there's time, I also want you to be able to add a sound effect so that when your character or your hero jumps, it'll make a sound effect. So let me show you an example of what it'll look like when you're done. I run the movie here. I put background music, but he's walking. I can make him jump, and every time he jumps, it makes noise. And also, we already did this last time. If he gets hit, he dies. But I can always reset it by clicking this click me button. And there we go. I reset, and I'm starting all over. So let's figure out what the steps are to do this. I'm going to go over here to where we left off last time. And the first thing is we want to create a reset button since I want the players to come back and play again. So to do that, the first thing is we need to import in the button that you created during our last class. So I'm going to go to File, Import to Library. And once here, I'm going to go to the folder where I saved those 3 buttons we created. Now I saved mine on my desktop, so that's exactly where I'm going to go. I'm going to click on the first picture, the first file, and I'm going to hold Control and click on the other 2 because I want the off, on, and down all together. I'm going to click Open, and with all 3 selected, I'll get this little window. Now hopefully, if all goes well, it'll download everything without any problems. However, if you do have problems in a minute, what you have to do is just save your buttons again and just flatten the image so that it doesn't have all these layers. But you should be fine. So we're going to click OK here. I'll click OK here. I'll click OK here. If I go to my library now, I will find my buttons right there. And they are, there we go, gel button on, down, off, and on, along with the assets folder, which we don't need to worry about. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to create a new button. So I'm going to go to Insert, New Symbol, and we're going to call it Reset Button. It's going to be a button class, so make sure it's a button here, and I'm going to click OK. Once I've done that, I'm going to drag over my button, which is going to be the off one first. As you can see, I'm on the up section. So I'm going to go over here to the off gel button and just drag it right to the middle and line it up so that the center, I'm just nudging it with my arrow keys on the keyboard, right to the center. Then from there, I'm going to go to the over frame, right click there, and insert a blank keyframe. Here, I'm going to put the on button. This is what's going to happen when the mouse hovers over it. Again, I'm going to center it up so it's lined up perfectly. Then finally, I'm going to go to the down button. Right click, insert blank keyframe, and bring over the down button. And voila, I have my 3 buttons lined up very well. From here, I'm going to go back to scene 1. And once here, I'm going to go over to my content layer. Be sure not to do it on your ActionScript layer. That would be a bad idea. We're going to go to my content layer, and I'm just going to drag over the button we just created, which we called the reset button right here. I'm going to drag that right over. And you can see it's humongous, so I don't want it to be this big. So I'm going to use this transform tool here just to shrink it down to a good size, and I held shift there. Don't forget to hold shift so it doesn't get all weird. Let's undo that there. So you want to get a good size there. And what I'm going to do with the selection tool, selected the button, I'm going to go to properties and I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call it reset, R-E-S-E-T, capital B-T-N, and I'm going to push enter. So I gave it an instance name of reset BTN. Now let's talk about the code. I'm going to go to my ActionScript 3 layer, and I'm going to push F9